My child, I see the weariness in your eyes and the nights when you lie still while your heart refuses to rest. You stifle your sighs and search for an exit from the whirlwind of work relationships and the things that draw the world's admiration. Yet no matter how much you achieve, your soul has not found its rest. I know this well, for I am the one who placed that longing within you, not to torment you, but to lead you back to the true spring. You have been running for so long, racing along roads blazing with lights that cannot illumine the hidden corners of your heart. You have smiled at the world and still heard the quiet sob within. My child, where are you seeking peace? Do you think it lies in recognition, in someone's love, in a foothold, secure by the world's standards? I tell you the truth. Every place you have sought is only a mirage. They are like morning dew sparkling at dawn. Once the sun rises, they vanish, leaving only dryness and emptiness behind. You have traded away years of your life just to grasp a moment of calm, but the instant you catch it, it slips away like sand through your fingers. That is because peace is not found in wealth, fame, or affection, but in me, the one who fashioned your soul. You were made to dwell in me, and only when you return to me will you truly find rest. The world can promise you happiness, but it cannot promise you lasting security. It can lull you with applause, then leave you to silence when the lights go out. You may be cherished today and tomorrow through a single misunderstanding forgotten. My child, these things are not wrong. They are simply too small to fill the space that only I can fill. I know you are trying. I know you want to believe you are fine and that everything will pass. Yet deep within your soul still cries to live in truth. It thirsts for something beyond words, for a peace that nothing can shake. That cry is my call. I am knocking on the door of your heart, not with thunder or signs, but with the quiet unrest that lingers in your mind. That very unease is not an enemy, but an invitation. I do not allow you to be comfortable because I despise you, but because I love you. I do not want you to sleep on what is false when I have prepared what is real and eternal. You think you are losing your peace, but in truth I am withdrawing the counterfeit so that you may learn where the true peace is found. You have listened to many voices in this world, but seldom paused to hear mine. When you feel empty, I am whispering. When your joy fades, I am calling. When you touch success and still feel alone, I am showing you that your soul was not made to live on applause, but on presence. My child, you search for peace as though it were an object outside of you, but peace is not a mere state. It is a relationship. When you abide in me, peace is not something you chase. It springs forth of itself. As a river flows from its source, so peace flows from me. Jeremiah 2:9-13 says, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart," and that word remains true for you today. I do not promise you a life without storms, but I promise you a heart no longer swept away by them. When you take refuge in me, peace is not a prize at the finish line, it is the very air you breathe. First, however, you must face the truth: you have been walking the wrong way. I do not say this to shame you, but to make you stop. You have wandered far from the fountain of living water, and you are thirsty, thirsty in your laughter, thirsty in your silence, thirsty even among the crowd. You think you need to add this thing or achieve that one, but you do not realize that your deepest longing is not to have, but to abide. In my presence you will find what every other pursuit has failed to give. Listen carefully, my child. I am not angry when you run. I am not disappointed when you lose your way. But I will not let you settle until you learn that true peace is never found in the things you cling to apart from me. Every time you grasp something outside of me, it will dissolve. Every time you place your hope in anything other than me, it will tremble. This is not to wound you, but to set you free. You were not born to be a slave to fear or scarcity, but to live in the light and peace of your Father. Therefore, I cannot leave you complacent while you clutch at illusions. The peace I give is not a counterfeit calm, but steadiness in the storm. It does not make you flee from reality. It equips you to face reality with trust. My child, I am waiting for you to return, not to condemn you, but to hold you in my embrace. When you are weary, I am your rest. When you are afraid, I am your refuge. When you are lost, I am the light that guides your way. You do not need to come to me with a perfect face. You only need to come with an honest heart. I do not want you to pretend to be fine anymore, because I know you are not. True peace comes only when you dare to admit your weakness and surrender control. Then I will pour into you a stillness that the world can never take away. My child, do not search for peace outside when I am right within you, waiting for you to open the door. Do not look for me in the noise, for I speak in whispers. Do not seek me in the crowd, for I come in the quiet. Peace is not a reward for the strong, but a gift for the surrendered. You have gone far enough to see that nothing in this world lasts. Now return and let me soothe your soul. Like a mother cradling her child, I will cradle your spirit with the breath of true peace. You will see that I never left. I have only been waiting for you to stop running, so you could finally hear my voice calling, my child, the peace you seek is not out there, it is in me. My beloved one, do you know why there are days when your heart feels shattered, when what once brought you joy now feels meaningless, when places that once felt safe now seem suffocating? It is not punishment, but intervention born of love. I have taken away the false calm you clung to, not to make you suffer, but to awaken you to the illusion of peace you've been living in. You thought everything was fine, that you were standing firm on your own, but in truth you were standing on thin ice. One small tremor could break it. I cannot allow you to keep believing you are at peace while your soul is weary and fainting. I love you too much to watch you fall asleep in the sweet deception of the world. Sometimes, my child, I must take away what you call peace, so you can realize it was never peace at all. You see, the peace of the world is built on conditions, on emotions, on control. It lasts only as long as things go your way. But when you lose that, when a person leaves, when a job ends, when a relationship fades, that peace collapses. You call it tragedy, but I call it awakening. For only when the false is stripped away do you begin to long for what is true. Only when the walls you've built crumble can you see the wide sky of freedom above. I am not breaking you. I am rescuing you from the invisible prison of complacency. You ask, Lord, why do you let me lose so much? And I answer, because I cannot let you die in shallow satisfaction. You think peace means the absence of storms, but I allow the waves to rise so that the foundation of your faith may be revealed. If that foundation is not me, it will shake. And that shaking is not cruelty, but grace. I remove so that you may know what cannot be shaken. I disturb so that you may learn to root yourself in the solid rock. When everything you leaned on collapses, you will find that I remain steadfast, unchanging. It is when you lose everything that you finally see. I am everything. My child, when I take something away, I am not merely taking, I am making room. Like a potter breaking a flawed vessel to mold it anew, I shatter your fragile comfort so I can form a piece that cannot crack. The pain you feel is the contraction of rebirth. The emptiness you sense is the space I have cleared to fill with something new. I cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. Therefore, I must break the old forms even when you cry to keep them. It is not because I want you to suffer, but because I want you to truly live. So often you have prayed for me to restore what was lost, yet I did not. For if I returned it, you would fall asleep again in illusion. You have begged me to still the storm, but I did not hush it immediately because I wanted to teach you to find peace within the storm, not after it. You have pleaded with me to change your circumstances, but I have been changing your heart. Peace does not begin outside. It begins within, where your soul learns to rest in my presence. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. John 1:4-7. Do you see? My peace requires no condition. It endures even in the tempest, because it does not come from the situation. It comes from my presence within it. You once thought I was silent when you prayed, but in truth I was at work. The stillness I allowed was not the absence of love, but the proof of it. A father cannot let his child sit calmly on a sinking ship just because the child is smiling. True love will shake you awake even from a beautiful dream, and I, your father, cannot watch you rest peacefully in a life without me. For I know that sooner or later that mask of peace will fall, revealing the fear, loneliness, and confusion beneath. So I do what only true love dares to do. I take away the illusion of calm so that you may find true rest. My child, when I shake the ground beneath your feet, do not be afraid. Remember, I never destroy what is real. I only break what is false. I never take away what is good. I only clear away what hinders the blessing. If you lose something, ask, is God teaching me to trust? If you feel empty, ask, is God making room for something new? If you no longer feel secure, ask, is God calling me back to Him? I never act outside the purpose of love. Every loss in me has meaning, and every shaking leads to a firmer foundation. The peace I give does not come from empty silence, but from companionship. I do not promise you will never cry, but I promise you will never be alone. I do not promise a life without pain, but I promise to hold you through it. When I take something away, I already hold something better in my hand for you. Yet you can only receive it with empty hands. That is why I must teach you to let go. False peace makes you cling to small things. True peace gives you the courage to open your hands. I do not remove your peace to punish you, but to show you where true peace is found. For if I allowed you to be content with what is false, you would never seek what is real. Pause for a moment, my child. Look around at what is trembling. Perhaps that is where I am at work. Do not fear the emptiness, for within it I am preparing space for fullness. Do not fear the loss, for within it I am planting new seeds. Do not fear the silence, for within it I am speaking in the language of stillness. Let your heart remain soft, so that you may hear me whisper between the pauses. My child, the peace you once had was not real, but I will give you the true peace, one that no one can take away. And when you understand this, you will see that every time I take something away, it is another way I love you more deeply. I do not remove to leave you empty, but to lead you into true abundance. For the peace I give is not like the world's. It does not come and go, fade and vanish. It endures because it flows from me, the Eternal One, who never changes. And when you learn to anchor your peace in me, you will no longer fear loss, for in me, you already have everything. My beloved child, do you remember those moments in the night when your heart could not rest, when emptiness crept in between your successes, when laughter outside could not silence the sighs within? You thought it was weakness or lack of faith, but I tell you the truth. Those were the moments your soul began to hear my call. The longing you felt was not a flaw. It was proof that your soul was still alive. A dead soul does not thirst, but a living one yearns for its maker. The hunger within you is not a curse. It is the compass pointing you toward what is true. Every sigh, every tear in the dark, every word you could not speak, but lifted up in silence. They are all prayers I have heard clearly. My beloved child, do not be afraid of longing. Many try to silence it with pleasures, plans, or worldly dreams. They think longing is a sign of lack, but in truth, it is the sign of being called. You were not created for fleeting satisfaction. You were made for eternal fulfillment. When I allow you to feel unsettled, it is because I am drawing you out of falsehood into what is real. Like a mother calling her lost child home, I am calling you through the very emptiness you now feel. You think you are losing something, but in truth you are being prepared to receive what can never be lost. My child, every thirst is a reminder that you belong to me. When you grow weary from chasing what cannot satisfy, when you realize that no one truly understands you, that is when I am drawing near. I do not come in noise, but in the stillness of the Spirit. It is when you sit quietly with nothing left to say, and nothing left to prove, that I step close and whisper, I am here. Then you will understand that peace is not the result of controlling everything, but of knowing who controls all things. When you stop running, you will hear my voice, not a command, but an invitation. I do not say you must, I say come. How many times have you tried to quench that thirst with work, with giving, with human love, yet no matter how much you gain, your soul remains unsatisfied? You have been drinking from broken wells, wells that cannot hold water. I do not condemn you. I have compassion for you. For I see your hands bleeding as you try to draw water from what can never soothe your deepest thirst. I have seen every disappointment, every sleepless night, every ache hidden behind your smile. You think I am far away, but I am closer than your breath. You do not need to shout, just a sigh and I hear. My child, when you feel exhausted, do not strive more. Stop and let your thirst become your prayer. When you say, I am tired, I hear I need you. When you cry, I don't understand why this is happening, I hear, teach me what you will. Even in your silence, I hear your heart whisper, I want peace. And I, the one who made that heartbeat, answer with my presence. My peace does not come like a rushing wind, but like a gentle breath. It does not press from without, but rises from within, from the place where your soul has been touched by my Spirit. You ask, Lord, how do I know if I've heard your voice? I say. When you feel drawn away from the shallow things, when your heart suddenly longs for what is eternal, that is, my voice. My voice does not frighten you, it melts you. It does not force you to your knees in fear, but brings you to your knees in love. When you hear my voice, your heart softens, your tears fall for no reason you can explain, and peace quietly settles upon you like morning dew upon the grass. That is the sign you are coming home. My beloved, stop trying to silence your thirst. Let it lead you to me. Each time you feel empty, say, Lord, I know you are calling. When you feel misunderstood, remember I placed that longing within you so you would not settle for the small things. If the world could satisfy you, you would forget me. If people could make you whole, you would stop seeking your Creator. Because I love you, I allow your heart to ache when it is filled with the temporary, so that it may hunger for what is higher, the one thing that is truly real. As Psalm 4:2-1 says, as the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, O God. So it is with your soul, it thirsts for me, as the deer thirsts for water, and it will not rest until it drinks from my living stream. I am that water. When you drink from me, you will thirst no more, for you will have found the resting place for your soul. My peace is not a reward for the worthy, but a gift for the thirsty. So come, my child. Come as you are, with empty hands, with a torn heart, with wounds still unhealed. I do not wait for you to be perfect before I love you. I love you so that you may be made whole. Let me turn your thirst into a fountain of life. Let me turn your sighs into songs of peace. Let me turn your emptiness into the dwelling place of my glory. You do not need to know where the road will lead, only that I am walking it with you. My child, I have seen your striving, your relentless running, the nights you've stayed awake, hoping that if you just did a little more, tried a little harder, achieved a little further, then your heart would finally rest. You thought that once you reached your goals, once you held in your hands the thing you dreamed of, peace would follow. But my child, I see what you have not yet seen. You are drawing water from wells that are cracked. You have poured your strength, your time, your tears, even your youth into them, yet the more you draw, the thirstier you become. Every success you taste only deepens the hunger within, for your soul was never made to drink from those sources. You were made for me, and only I can satisfy the thirst that burns in your heart. I have watched you build for yourself your own wells, the well of work, of recognition, of relationships, of knowledge, of power. You have bent over them, seeing your reflection in the water, and believed that you had found life. But my child, that reflection was only a mirage. When you tried to drink, the water seeped away. You tried again, harder this time, and were met once more with disappointment. Not because you are weak, but because the source you chose was never living. You draw and draw, yet it never fills, because those wells were not dug by the hands of the Eternal One. Do you know why I call them broken wells? Because they hold illusions, things that make you believe you are satisfied, when in truth your spirit is withering. You seek approval, but it leaves you fearful of losing your reputation. You seek human love, but it makes you dependent and wounded. You seek knowledge, but it makes you proud and restless. You seek wealth, but it fills you with the dread of loss. Every well the world offers comes with a price, and that price is your peace. You trade your soul for something you can never keep, and I, the one who loves you, cannot remain silent while you do. My child, I have seen the look in your eyes when what seemed so close suddenly slipped away. I have seen the emptiness you hide behind your smile, the weight upon your shoulders even when your lips say, "I'm fine." I know the tears you wipe away in the dark when no one is watching. You think no one understands, but I do. For I am the one who fashioned your heart, a heart designed to hold my presence. That is why, no matter how much fleeting joy you pour into it, it still cries out for the eternal. That thirst within you is not failure, it is a calling. You ask, Lord, why can't I be satisfied with what I have? And I answer, because if the world could satisfy you, you would forget me. It is through that very dissatisfaction that I am drawing you closer. You think I am withholding blessings, but in truth, I am protecting you from deception. If I allowed you to stay content at a dry well, you would die of thirst without knowing it. But I love you enough to let the water dry up, so you will lift your eyes and find the true source, the living water that flows from me alone. I see you, my child, when you whisper, "If only I had that, I would be at peace." Yet when you receive it, the emptiness grows deeper still. I see you when you think, "If that person could understand me, I would be happy." Yet even when they love you, your soul remains uneasy. I see you when you strive to prove your worth, but the more you prove, the more you doubt. None of this makes you weak. It reveals a sacred truth: nothing can fill your soul but me. For my people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and dug for themselves cisterns, broken cisterns, that can hold no water. Jeremiah 2:1-3. My child, let these words echo within your heart. You were not created to dig wells. You were created to drink from the stream. And that stream is not far away, it is near, within reach, within your very breath. Yet you have wandered too far through crowded streets and dazzling lights of the world, forgetting that the true source of water is within you, waiting for your return. Every time you cry out, "Lord, grant me peace," I whisper, "My child, come to me." But instead you run to other places where only the hollow echoes of empty promises remain. I do not blame you, for I understand the fear that drives your searching. You fear loneliness, so you seek people. You fear poverty, so you seek wealth. You fear failure, so you seek recognition. But my child, these things are not evil. They are simply not enough. They are the shadow of what is real, the fleeting breath of a life that cannot endure. I do not forbid you to dream, but I want your dreams to rest on a firm foundation. For when you set your hope upon me, everything else will find its rightful place. But when you set me aside, everything else becomes a burden. You have been running for so long, my child, yet I am still here. I have never taken my eyes off you, even when you turned away. I have waited for the moment you would stop so I could say, "Do not draw water from the broken well any longer. Come to me." I am not merely the source of water, I am the river itself. I do not only quench your thirst, I am the reason you thirst. For in that thirst I reveal the nature of love. Love always invites, never forces. You must take the step yourself, and when you do, I will meet you there. My child, look back on the road you have traveled. How many times did you think you had found the final thing, only to feel empty again? How many people, achievements and praises have passed by, leaving no true peace behind? They are all but a breeze across the meadow. But I am the river that never runs dry. If you drink from me, you will live not with an easy life, but with a full one. Let me teach you a secret, my child. You no longer need to dig wells. Your wells may have cracked, but my spring still overflows. Do not be afraid of the years you've spent drawing water from the wrong places. No tear has been wasted if it leads you home. Come, my child, and let me pour into your soul the living water. The water that washes away weariness, heals every wound, and brings renewal the world can never give. Then you will understand every dry well you once dug was not a mistake, but a lesson that led you back to my spring. From that moment on, you will no longer run elsewhere, for you will have found what your soul has longed for since the beginning, me, the eternal living water. My child, now look deeply into what is happening within your soul. You have tasted the water of the world, a water that seems to soothe thirst but only leaves you craving more. It wets your lips for a moment, then leaves the bitterness of emptiness behind. You see, the world also has its water, the water of fleeting joy, of temporary satisfaction, of laughter that never reaches the heart. It is easy to find, easy to drink, and easy to exhaust. It is alluring because it promises quick fulfillment, but in its very speed, it steals the ability to recognize what is lasting. The water of the world consists of things you can touch, count, and measure. It flows from success, attention, admiration, or the fulfillment of your desires. You drink it and feel refreshed, but only for a moment. Then the thirst returns deeper than before because your soul does not crave sensations, it craves life. You will come to realize that the water of the world can moisten the lips of the thirsty, but it can never reach the thirsty soul. It is like seawater. The more you drink, the thirstier you become, for it was never made to sustain you. It bears the form of water but lacks life within it. My child, I have watched many drink that kind of water all their lives. They think they are living, but they are withering inside. They trade their souls for fame, their peace for power, their rest for restless striving. They are so busy that they no longer have time for life itself. And then one night when darkness settles, they realize they have gained everything but lost the one thing that mattered most, the water of life. Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water that I give will never thirst, as written in John 4:1-3-14. My child, the water of the world refreshes the body, but my water revives the soul. One gives temporary pleasure, the other brings eternal transformation. One comes from what you achieve, the other flows from what I freely give. One binds you to circumstance, the other frees you within it. The water of the world keeps you searching, my water lets you rest. When you drink the world's water, you must always guard it from running out. But when you drink mine, you yourself become a spring for others, for this water flows endlessly from within you. Look again, my child, at the times you drank the world's water. You drank the water of emotion, hoping someone's love would make you feel worthy, but when that love changed, you were thirsty again. You drank the water of success, believing that once you reached your goal, peace would come. But when you did, your heart was still empty. You drank the water of pleasure, seeking joy in what numbed your pain. But when the thrill faded, regret remained. The water of the world always promises, but never fulfills. It gives you a rainstorm, but never a river. I do not blame you for drinking from those wells. You are only doing what all humanity has done, seeking life in your own way. But my child, I am the source from which every stream begins. My water does not come through striving, but through receiving. It does not require you to prove anything. It only asks that you thirst and come. This water does not intoxicate but awakens. It does not make you forget but helps you remember. Remember that you are loved, chosen, and called. When you drink the water of the world, you forget who you are. When you drink the water I give you, rediscover yourself. You ask, Lord, how is this living water different? And I answer, it is not found in feeling but in presence. When you drink the world's water, you drink to feel better. When you drink my water, you drink to be transformed. The world's water touches only your lips. Mine seeps into your very bones, renewing your soul, cleansing your sins, healing your memories, and reviving what was once dead. It does not merely help you survive, it makes you abundant. For my water is not a symbol. It is my spirit itself, my breath within you. When you drink this water, I do not simply quench your thirst. I transform your nature. You will no longer merely seek peace. You will become one who carries peace. You will no longer merely pray for love. You will become one who reflects love. For the water I give is not just to keep you alive, but to make you a source of life for others. Like a river flowing through dry land, you will bring life to the barren places. My child, the world's water makes you weary, because you must always guard it. But my water makes you free, because no one can take it away. It is not bound by circumstance, nor limited by time. When you have me, you have a spring that never runs dry. The world may change, people may leave, seasons may shift, but my stream will always flow. It is never polluted, never depleted, never diluted by anything, for it flows from me, the Eternal One. Do not confuse the water that makes you happy with the water that makes you alive. The joy of the world is like bubbles on the surface, beautiful, glittering, but gone in an instant. My water, however, is quiet and humble, yet deep and enduring. It is not loud nor showy, but whoever drinks it will never thirst again. You need not go far to find it, for it is here within, my word in prayer in the still moments when you rest before me. Each time you come to me, the water flows again, refreshing your soul. And one day you will see the profound difference between the two kinds of water. One keeps you trapped in the cycle of desire and disappointment. The other leads you into eternal rest. One demands that you pay. The other was paid for with the blood of Christ. One exists only in this world. The other flows from eternity. My child, choose wisely. The world will keep inviting you to drink its water, promising sweetness. But I tell you the truth only. My water can save you from dying of thirst. Therefore, when you hear my voice calling, do not delay. Leave behind the old jar, the fleeting joys, the shallow concerns, the futile efforts. Come to the fountain of living water, where every drop is a word of love, every wave a breath of new life. When you drink from this source, you will know that peace is no longer something to seek, but something to live. And you will cry out like the woman at the well once did, Lord, give me this water that I may never thirst again. My beloved child, I see how your shoulders have grown thin under the weight of life. You have tried so hard, endured so long, forced a smile, even when your heart wished to give up. You have told yourself to be strong, to stand firm, to appear fine, but, my child, no one can remain strong forever without rest. Your soul was not made to carry burdens, but to lean. Not to keep running, but to find stillness in my arms. So today, amid your weariness, I speak to you with the gentlest call, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 1:1-8. My child, I do not call you with a voice of rebuke, but with the sound of love. I do not ask you to fix yourself before coming. I ask you to come before you are spent. You do not need to prepare an offering, only to bring a sincere heart. You do not need to move forward in your own strength, only to step toward me. You have walked so many roads and tried every way to find peace, yet you are only more weary. The world promised happiness and left you empty. Those you trusted sometimes became the source of your pain. The hopes you carried at times turned into burdens, and now your soul is tired. This is the moment you are ready to hear my call. I know you fear that if you stop, everything will fall apart. You think that if you let go, all you have built will be lost. But my child, you have forgotten that I alone hold all things together. How long can you keep it upright by your own power? How far can you run on weary feet? You have counted the days worked to control, to plan, to arrange, and the more you do, the more restless your heart becomes. You are carrying what was never yours to bear. Let me carry it. Whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life. John 4:14. Do you hear? I do not merely give you water to drink. I give the very source of life so you may be reborn. Come to me not as someone perfect, but as a child in need of an embrace. Come with empty hands, for only empty hands can receive. Bring your tears, for tears are the truest language of the soul. Do not fear that I will turn you away because you are weak. It is precisely because you are weak that I call you. Do not be ashamed of your stumblings. It is precisely because you have fallen that I draw near. I do not wait for you to stand before I hold you. I hold you so that you may stand. I do not ask you to be no longer thirsty before you come. I ask you to come so that you may drink. The peace you seek is not a prize for the flawless, but a gift for the surrendered. Come, dear child. I am not far. You do not need to cross 1,000 mountains and rivers to find me. You need only breathe out and whisper, Lord. In that very moment I am there. No wall is high enough to bar my love. No abyss is dark enough to hide your soul from my gaze. You do not need to search for me amid the noise of the world. You will find me in the whisper. In the quiet room where you kneel, I am there. In the long night when you believe no one understands, I am listening. In the fears you keep hidden, I am gently laying my hand upon your heart. You have drawn water from dry wells, and now you are exhausted. I do not accuse you. I simply say, enough, my child. Come and drink the true water. You do not have to prove yourself worthy, for you can never be more worthy than the love I have already set upon you. I love you not for what you can accomplish, but because you belong to me. My love does not flow from merit, but from covenant. It does not shift with moods or fade with time. It is firm as the rock, soft as the river, and deep as the sea. When you come to me, I do not only remove your burden, I transform the way you carry what remains. I do not only grant you rest for a moment, I teach you to live from rest. The peace I give is not a place but a presence. Abide in me, and you will carry that peace wherever you go, into your work, into your trials, into relationships, still unfinished. You will no longer have to hunt for quiet outside, because stillness will dwell within. Have you noticed, my child, that water is clear only when it is still? When the waves rise, it grows murky. When the wind is calm, it is transparent. So it is with your soul. I long to lead you to quiet waters until the lake of your heart is clear again, so that you may see my face reflected there. I do not only want you to drink the living water, I want you to become a pool that mirrors the light of heaven. When you are at rest in me, I will use you to illuminate other thirsty souls. Do not delay, my child. Do not say, tomorrow I will come. Tomorrow promises you nothing. Today is the day of grace. The moment my arms are wide open. Today I stand beside the well of your heart and say, my child, come. I know you are tired. I know you are thirsty. I know you are afraid. But you no longer have to endure alone. Take a single step, and I will do the rest. I will wash away the dust of the road you carry. I will heal the wounds you have tried to hide. I will cause your heart to live again. And when you take that first sip, the water that flows from my source, you will understand what words could never express. A lightness will settle upon you, a deep breath will rise from within, and a gentle peace will spread through your being. not because every problem has vanished, but because you know who holds everything in his hands. You will no longer need to run, for you have arrived. You will no longer need to search, for you have been found. You will no longer need to fear, for you have been loved. And in that holy stillness you will hear me whisper, "My child, from this moment on you shall never thirst again, for you have drunk from my living water." My beloved child, there will be seasons in your life without sunlight, days filled only with thick, heavy clouds. There will be times when the wind rises so violently that you no longer know where you stand. Everything once certain begins to shake. Every promise, every faith, every dream seems to be swept away by the storm of circumstances. You stand amid the roaring wind with thunder echoing within your heart, and you ask, "Lord, where are you?" You feel abandoned, tested beyond your strength, wounded until you have no breath left to pray. Yet listen to me. My child, I am still there, right in the middle of the storm. It is I who have allowed the wind to blow to reveal that no matter how fierce it rages, it still remains within my command. I know those days when your faith feels as fragile as a single thread, as flickering as a candle in the wind. You once believed, once sang with joy, once stood strong, but now even your prayers dissolve into tears. You cannot understand why I have permitted this. You do not understand why what you cherished was taken away, why promises seem delayed, or why my silence feels so long. But my child, faith is not proven in the sunshine, it is proven in the storm. True trust does not shine when life is easy. It shines when everything falls apart. Yet your heart still says, "Even so I believe." I did not send the storm to destroy you, but to reveal myself to you. Without the storm, you would think peace means the absence of wind. But true peace is not the absence of the storm. It is my presence within it. I allow the winds to rise not to make you afraid, but to show you who holds real authority. When my disciples panicked upon the sea, they too cried out, "Teacher, we are perishing," forgetting that the one who commands both the sea and the wind was right there in the boat with them. And I stood, spoke one word, "Peace, be still," and the wind ceased, and the waters became calm. Mark 4:3-9. My child, I have not changed. I am still that same. One, the Lord, before whom the storm bows in silence. I allow storms to come to strip away what is unnecessary, to expose the true foundation beneath your feet. When the sun shines, you might think your faith is firm, but only when the rain falls and floods rise will you see whether your house was built upon rock or upon sand. The storm does not create faith, it reveals it. It does not kill you, it purifies you. It does not come to condemn, but to cleanse. When you pass through the storm, all that is false will fade away, and what remains will be the eternal, an unshaken love, an unyielding faith, and a hope that will not die. My beloved child, do not fear the tears that fall in the night. They are the seeds of faith watered through trials. I hear every sob, every trembling breath, every silent cry that escapes in the darkness. I am not watching from afar. I am right there in the wind that blows, holding your soul so it is not swept away. I do not promise to calm the storm at once, but I promise something far more certain. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. Isaiah 4:3-2. My child, at times, you think peace comes when the storm ceases, but true peace begins when you realize I am in the boat with you. That is what enables you to stand firm while the waves still rise. When your eyes are fixed on the wind, fear will take hold. But when your eyes are fixed on me, you will see that the storm is only the backdrop against which my power is revealed. You will understand that without the night, you would never know the worth of the light. Without the storm, you would never know how deeply I can protect you. I know you ask, why must I endure this? But my child, I did not lead you into the storm to destroy you, but to teach you to soar. Weak birds flee from the wind, but the eagle learns to use the very gusts that terrify others to rise higher. So it is with you. The storm you dread will become the wind that lifts you as long as you open the wings of faith. You cannot control the direction of the wind, but you can choose the posture of your heart. When your heart turns toward me, the storm ceases to be your enemy. It becomes your teacher. Remember, my child, I do not measure you by how you react when things are easy, but by how you stand when nothing seems certain. That is when I see the true light within you, not the light of a candle, but the fire I myself have kindled. When you are at the end of your strength, that is when real faith begins to move. When you have nothing left to cling to, you will know that I am the foundation that cannot be shaken. And when you pass through the storm, you will not merely survive, you will be transformed. My child, I know the storm frightens you, but if you could see through spiritual eyes, you would realize that even now, in the midst of the tempest, I am working. I am uprooting the roots of fear, refining your faith through fire, teaching you to trust even when you do not understand. I am strengthening your soul so that one day you will not just speak of the storm, but of the one who was with you in it. My beloved, take my hand. Do not fix your gaze upon the waves. Look at me, the one who remains still in the midst of the wind. You will see that peace is not the absence of waves, but the assurance that I am still at the helm. When you understand this, you will no longer pray for the storm to end, but for strength to stand firm. For true peace does not avoid the storm. It endures within it. My child, you still think peace is when the storm stops blowing, when the sun shines again, when the sea becomes still like glass. But I tell you, true peace is not when the storm is gone, but when you know I am in it with you. I do not promise you a life without storms, but I promise you will never face them alone. When the thunder roars within, when the winds of fear sweep through your mind, when tears fall unspoken and unseen, I am there. You may not feel me, but my presence does not depend on your emotions. It is an eternal truth. Often, my child, you ask me to take away the storm, and I do not. Not because I am deaf, but because I know the storm is necessary for your journey. You see only the wind. I see the wings. You see only the danger. I see the opportunity for you to learn trust. I do not remove you from the storm, for it is within the storm that you will know my strength. It is there that you will see I am not merely the God above the waves, but the one who walks upon them, reaching for your hand as you begin to sink. When Peter grew afraid and started to fall, I did not condemn him. I reached out and asked, "Why did you doubt?" Matthew 1:4-3-1. And I say the same to you today. My child, I am here. Why are you afraid? I am not the God who stands outside the storm commanding from a distance. I am in the storm. I do not sit on a faraway throne watching you struggle. I step into what you face. When you tremble from loss, I hold you. When despair grips you, I whisper hope. When you can no longer pray, I intercede for you with groanings too deep for words. You do not see it, but every time you collapse, I kneel beside you. Every time you sigh, I breathe with you. Every time you think you are about to drown, it is my hand that keeps you afloat. There are times when I let you walk through strong winds, not because I wish to test your limits, but because I want you to see your own, so that you may know how much you need me. You once placed your confidence in your own strength, in your plans, and in the things you could control. But when the storm came, all those things dissolved like mist. And in that moment you came to see who truly holds you. Not success, not relationships, not knowledge, but me alone. It is only when you have nothing left to lean on that you realize I am the firm foundation that cannot be shaken. My child, I want you to learn to see the storm with different eyes, not as an enemy, but as a meeting place with me. For in peace you may know me with your mind, but in the storm you know me through experience. In peace you may speak about me, but in the storm you cling to me. In peace you may praise me with your lips, but in the storm you worship me with your whole soul. The storm is not a place where you are abandoned, but the place where you encounter me most deeply. Without the storm, you would never know that a single word from me can silence the entire universe. Remember this, my child, I never promised that life would be free of storms, but I did promise that you would never be swallowed by them. I did not promise you would always see the path clearly, but I promised to be the light that guides you through the night. I did not promise you would never cry, but I promised to wipe away every tear. I did not promise you would never be hurt, but I promised to heal every wound. I did not promise you a life without trials, but I promised that no trial would ever be beyond your strength, for I am your strength. When you are in the storm, my child, do not try to understand everything. Some storms do not come to be explained, but to be experienced. You do not need to know why they come. You only need to know who walks with you through them. Picture this. The sea is raging, waves crash against the boat, water pours in, yet inside that small vessel, I am sitting calmly. I am not panicked, not afraid, not shaken. I look at you and say, be still, I am here. When you see my calm, you too will be calm. When you know that I am at the helm, you will no longer fear the wind. My beloved, true peace is not the absence of storms, but the presence of me within them. When you feel you have lost everything, remember that you have not lost me. When everything around you seems to fall apart, remember that my love remains whole. When the wind feels too strong, remember that I am the one who set its limits. The wind can only blow where I allow, the waves can only rise to the height I command. Nothing happens beyond my control. I am the one whom the storms obey, and I am with you. If only you could see what I am doing in the midst of the storm, you would no longer be afraid. The storm is teaching you to trust, shaping you into my likeness, refining your faith until it becomes pure as gold tested by fire. When the storm passes, you will not be the same. You will carry within you a quiet strength, the kind that only comes from being held by my hands in the heart of the tempest. You will look back and say, if not for the storm, I would never have known how near the Lord truly is. And now, my child, I speak this with the deepest love. If you are in the storm right now, do not be afraid. Let your heart rest in these words, I am in the storm with you. You do not need to strain to stand firm. Simply hold my hand. When you cannot walk, I will carry you. When you cannot see, I will guide you. When you cannot speak, I will listen. When you can bear no more, I will embrace you. And the storm will grow still, not because it fears you, but because it knows who is with you. My child, I know you have grown weary from trying to control everything. From the smallest plans of your day to the greatest dreams of your life, you've wanted to hold them all tightly in your hands, fearing that if you let go, everything would fall apart. You have believed that peace only comes when everything aligns according to your will, when the future is clear, when people behave as you expect, when you have enough guarantees to silence your fears. But my dear one, that is not true peace. It is an illusion born of fear, the fear of losing control. And the more you cling to it, the more restless your soul becomes. You have told yourself, if I can make everything go according to plan, I will finally be at peace. Yet how many times, even when things unfolded exactly as you desired, did your heart still feel empty? And on the other hand, there were moments when everything slipped beyond your grasp, yet a calm you could not explain filled your spirit. Because in that moment you surrendered and allowed me to do my part. My child, true peace does not come from what you can control, but from letting me take control. Peace is not found in knowing every outcome, but in knowing the one who holds every outcome in his hands. I have seen your anxious heart when things do not go as planned. I have watched you stay awake through the night, analyzing every possibility, trying to fix, arrange, and calculate. You fear that something will fall out of place, that you will lose what you love, that you will not have enough, that you will be hurt. You cling with trembling hands to your work, your relationships, your reputation, even your faith, as if they were the only lifeboats keeping you from drowning in the sea of life. But my child, I ask you this, if your hands are clinging to everything else just to stay afloat, how can I hold you? I do not blame you, for I know the root of control is fear. You fear abandonment, betrayal, and loss. You fear that if you do not act, everything will crumble. But that fear does not come from me. I did not create you to live in anxiety, but in trust. You were not made to master your destiny, but to walk with the one who has already ordained every step. When you try to seize control, you take upon yourself a burden that belongs only to me. No one can be both human and God. And because you were not created to carry that weight, your soul grows weary when you try. You still think that control brings safety. But I tell you the truth, safety does not come from knowing everything, but from knowing me. If you truly believe that I reign over all, then even when tomorrow is uncertain, you can rest. Knowing that I hold the future allows you to be at peace in the present. But if you do not trust me, then even with a perfect plan, your heart will still tremble. You have mistaken control for strength, but true strength is when you can release your grip and still believe. My child, you cannot add a single moment to your life, no matter how hard you try. You cannot command the wind to stop, the rain to cease, or make someone stay if I do not will it. All you can do is choose to trust that everything I allow has a purpose. You do not see the whole picture, but I do. You see a fragment and think it is misplaced, but I know it fits perfectly into the design. When you try to arrange everything, you confine me within the limits of your understanding. But when you let go, you open space for me to act in ways far beyond what you could ever imagine. I know the hardest thing is not to believe when you understand, but to believe when you do not. Yet, my child, that is what true faith is, to walk when the path is unseen, to trust when answers have not yet come, and to rest even when no miracle has appeared. When you dare to surrender yourself into my hands, peace will begin to seep into your heart, not because circumstances have changed, but because the burden has been placed where it truly belongs. I have spoken, cast all your cares upon me, for I care for you. 1 Peter 5:7. You only need to obey that simple command, simple yet powerful enough to free your soul from the chains of control. My child, imagine your soul as a boat. Every time you try to control everything, you are straining your sails against contrary winds, rowing hard against the current. But when you release the oars and let the wind of the Holy Spirit blow, you will realize you have not lost direction. You are simply being guided by a power greater than yourself. Peace does not come from rowing harder, but from letting me steer. You still think surrender is defeat, but in my kingdom, surrender is victory. For when you release, you are declaring, Lord, I believe you are big enough to take care of this for me. When you stop, I begin to move. When you are silent, I speak. When you cease striving, I fight on your behalf. There are things I cannot place into your hands while they are still full of what you refuse to let go. My child, open your hands. Let me take away fear and place peace within them. True peace does not come from control, but from surrender. It is not found in having everything go the way you wish, but in trusting that every path I choose is the best one. The more you grasp, the more the water slips through your fingers. But when you stop, you will see that the stream, the very grace itself, has never stopped flowing, whether or not you tried to control it. Peace does not come from holding on, but from knowing that you are the one being held. My beloved child, it is time for you to learn one of the deepest lessons in the journey of faith, the lesson of surrender. I know this is not easy. Human instinct is to cling to control, to plan, and to protect. You fear that if you do not hold on, everything will fall apart. But you have yet to realize that often it is the very act of holding on that causes things to break. Some things are only beautiful when released, only preserved when entrusted. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will do it. Psalm 3:7-5. This is not merely advice. It is the key that unlocks the door to true peace. My child, surrender is not weakness. It is faith at its deepest level. To surrender does not mean to give up hope. It means to transfer hope from yourself to me. When you commit your path to me, you are not saying, I have no more dreams, but rather, Lord, I believe that your dream for me is far greater than my dream for myself. You lose nothing, you are simply placing it in the hands of the one who knows better, sees farther, and loves you more than anyone else ever could. My dear one, you have grown weary from trying to control the flow of your life. You think that if you act rightly, things will go smoothly. If you pray enough, you will get what you desire. If you plan well, you will avoid failure. But my child, I have not called you to live by formulas. I have called you to live by relationship. Faith is not about controlling outcomes. It is about trusting me amid unknown results. You do not need to understand everything. You only need to trust that I understand. When I ask you to let go, it is not because I wish to take something from you, but because I desire to return it to you in a better way. Like a child clutching a stone, believing it to be a treasure, while the father waits for the child to open their hand so he may place a true gem in it. Yet I cannot force you to release your grip, for true love never coerces. You must open your hand willingly, not out of fear, but out of trust. Letting go does not begin with an action. It begins with the belief that I am good enough, wise enough, and loving enough to take care of what concerns you. I know you are afraid that if you surrender, I might lead you somewhere you do not wish to go. Afraid that if you trust, you might be hurt. But, my child, you forget that I have never failed you. You once entrusted me with your tears, and I turned them into testimonies. You once handed me your loss, and I transformed it into healing. You once gave me a closed door, and I created a pathway where no one thought possible. If you look back, you will see every time you truly let go, peace has always followed. What does it mean to commit your way to the Lord? My child, it means placing your entire journey, past, present, and future, into my hands. It means believing that I not only begin but also complete the work I start. It means choosing to ask not, am I going the right way, but Lord, where would you have me go? When you do this, you will feel a strange lightness, as if the burden has fallen from your shoulders. For peace does not come from knowing everything clearly, but from trusting that I know everything clearly. Letting go does not mean indifference. It does not mean you stop working, stop praying, or stop dreaming. To let go is to do all you can in obedience, and then leave the rest to me. It is the harmony between effort and surrender, between action and trust. When you can do your best and still remain at peace, that is the sign you have truly let go. When you can say, even if this does not happen as I hoped, I still believe you are good, that is when surrender becomes real. You ask, how will I know if I have truly surrendered? My child, you will know when your heart stops struggling, when you no longer replay the same worry in your mind, when you stop trying to calculate what belongs only to me, when you can sleep peacefully at night knowing that I am still awake and watching, when you can pray, Lord, I give this to you, and not take it back through your anxiety. In that moment you have truly surrendered. I have spoken through my word, be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. To know that I am God is more than knowledge, it is experience. When you stop striving, I begin to act. When you cease your struggling, I bring to completion what I have ordained. You do not need to wrestle with me, you only need to yield. For when you fight to control, you are contending with the very one who always seeks what is best for you. But when you bow in trust, you are lifted by grace. The world teaches that peace comes from holding on, but I teach that true peace comes from letting go. for you cannot cling to your own plans and receive mine at the same time. One of the two must leave your hands. Choose the better portion. Choose to believe that I, the one who created heaven and earth, also know how to guide the small details of your life. Remember, the things you think you are losing when you surrender are actually being kept safe in my hands, where nothing can be stolen. And when you learn the sacred art of letting go, peace will flow over you like a gentle river. You will smile amid uncertainty, not because you have all the answers, but because you know who is writing the rest of your story. You will cease fearing the future, for the future is already held in me. You will stop trying to control others because you know only I can change hearts. You will stop clinging to what is fading because you trust that if something truly belongs to you, no one can take it away. Letting go does not end in loss. It opens the door to rest. Surrender does not make you weak. It makes you strong in faith. Releasing control does not take you farther from me. It draws you closer. And when you truly commit your ways to the Lord, you will walk lightly in grace, knowing that even if you do not know what tomorrow holds, you are held by the one who knows all things. My child, I have seen the times you asked me to guide your path, yet still followed your own map. I have heard you say, Lord, lead me according to your will, but when I turned your direction, you grew afraid. Yet surrender is not spoken only in words. It is obedience in the dark. It is when I say turn left, and you take the step, even before seeing the light ahead. It is when I say wait, and you choose to trust instead of despair. It is when you do not see my hand moving, yet you still believe that I am working. When you live this way, peace becomes the natural rhythm of your soul. Look, my child, at the lilies of the field. They neither toil nor strive, yet I clothe them in splendor greater than Solomon. Look at the sparrows, they do not store or plan, yet I feed them every day. You are worth far more than they. Do you think I would ever neglect you? I do not only care about the path you take, I care about every breath you breathe. When you surrender, you are telling me that you trust I am good enough to care for even the smallest details of your life. And it is in that trust that you find peace. My child, I do not need you to be strong for me to act. I only need you to surrender so that my strength may be revealed. When you cling too tightly, you slow my plans. But when you let go, every door opens. When you cease striving, I begin arranging. When you stop trying to make something happen, I turn your stillness into the soil where miracles grow. True peace does not come from exhausting effort, but from resting in my hands. My child, give me the pen of your life. I will write chapters you never dared to dream of. There will be pages where you weep, but I will use those tears to water the seeds of joy. There will be chapters that seem like endings, but I will turn them into beginnings. I am the faithful author. I never abandon the story I have begun. When you let me write, you will see that every twist, every turn, every loss serves a beautiful conclusion. My beloved, I know your mind has never truly rested. Though your body sits still, your heart wanders between two worlds, one anchored in the past, the other rushing toward the future. Sometimes you look back trying to understand the wounds that once were. Sometimes you run ahead fearing what has yet to come. And in the swirl of memory and worry, you lose the only moment where I dwell, the present. My child, that is why peace slips through your hands, because peace is not found in what was or what will be, but in me who is here. Humanity believes that peace arrives when the past is repaired and the future secured. But my child, you cannot rewrite the past and you cannot grasp the future. Every attempt to do so only burdens your soul further. The past binds you with guilt, disappointment, and regret. The future binds you with fear, anxiety, and uncertainty. And when your mind is torn between these two ends, there is no room left to rest. You live within time, but true peace exists only in eternity, and I am that eternity. My child, the past may remind you of your failures, but I have forgiven them. Sin once held you captive, but I have opened the prison doors. You no longer need to look back in endless remorse, for I have placed the final period at the cross. The blood of Christ has washed away all that you cannot forget. There is now no condemnation for those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. You can stop condemning yourself, for the sentence has been lifted. My child, do not live as one still imprisoned when the gate has long been opened. Each time you return to the past to accuse yourself, you pick up again the chains I have already broken. You fear tomorrow, the unknown days ahead, the unopened doors, the possibilities that lie beyond your sight. Yet you forget that I have already been there before you arrived. You are afraid of what I have already prepared an answer for. You are anxious about the path, though I have drawn the map. You are tense about the outcome, though I already know the ending. Faith is not about knowing what will happen. It is about knowing who walks with you through whatever happens. You cannot add a single moment to your life by worrying, but you can lose an entire day of peace because of it. I do not give you peace as the world gives, for the world's peace depends on circumstances, but mine flows from my very presence. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. John 1:4-7. My child, my peace is not found in whether you obtain what you desire, but in whether you remain with me in every moment. When you abide in me, you dwell in peace. When your mind drifts away from me to the past or to the future, you step out of that current of peace. My child, the present moment is a gift I have given you, yet so many never truly live in it. They carry the past like a heavy backpack, walking forward, while constantly looking back, unaware that each step becomes heavier. They gaze into the future with anxious eyes, seeking guarantees, forgetting that every breath they take is proof that I am still here. I am not in the tomorrow you imagine. I am in the today you are living. Stay here with me, beloved. Do not let your thoughts wander to what cannot be changed or what has not yet come. Be still, for I am here. When you live in the present, you will see that I am at work in the smallest things. In a gentle breeze, I am whispering. In the morning light, I am smiling. In the breath you just took, I am giving life. Peace is not a reward waiting at the end. It is an experience available now when your soul becomes aware that I am nearer than your very breath. You do not need to wait until your problems are solved to rest. You only need to know you are not walking alone. When you pause long enough to sense my presence, every worry begins to fade like mist under the morning Sunday. My child, I know there are nights when you lie awake, one part of your mind filled with regret, another part filled with fear. But let me whisper to your heart, enough, my child. Yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not yet here. Today is mine, and I give it to you as a place of rest. Each day you live is not a race against time, but an invitation to walk with me. When you sit quietly in my presence, time ceases to be your enemy. It becomes the rhythm of grace. Every moment is a sacred invitation. Be here with me. Learn, my child, to lift your eyes above past guilt and future worry. Look to me, the Eternal One, beyond time itself. When you fix your eyes on me, the past is redeemed, the future is secured, and the present is wrapped in peace. You will no longer ask, what if, or what will happen? You will simply smile and say, the Lord is here. And that alone will still every storm within you. And in this very moment, beloved, you will find what your heart has searched for all along, my presence. True peace is not a feeling, it is the fruit of closeness. When you dwell in me, you dwell in rest. When you live in this moment with me, peace becomes the natural breath of your soul. The past no longer binds you, the future no longer threatens you, for you live in the arms of the one who transcends all time. My child, so many ask me to act in the future, not realizing that I am already moving in the present. They cry, "Lord, when will you help me?" unaware that in the very breath they just took, I am sustaining their life. They plead, "Give me peace," not understanding that peace is not something you wait for. It is something you receive when you recognize I am here. Peace does not come when circumstances change. It comes when you realize I have never left. You still believe that I work in the future tense, that I will give answers someday. But my child, I work in the present tense. When you pray, I do not wait until tomorrow to respond. I am already working in the very moment your heart opens. I am not the one who will be, or used to be, but the one who I am. When Moses asked for my name, I said, "I am who I am." Exodus 3:1-4. This means I am not confined within the boundaries of time. I am eternal presence, existing in every moment, everywhere, for every soul that seeks me. My child, when you fear tomorrow, I ask, "Where is tomorrow? It has not come yet." When you regret yesterday, I ask, "Where is yesterday? It has already passed." Only today is real, because only today has me in it. When you live in the present, you live in my presence. But when your mind wanders to the past or races into the future, you step away from the place where peace dwells. You are like one standing outside a warm house, trembling in the cold, forgetting that I am waiting inside. You do not need to search for peace in distant places. You only need to step into this very moment with me. You ask, "How can I live in the now with you?" My child, begin with awareness. Whenever your heart feels restless, pause and whisper, "Lord, you are here." That simple confession is enough to draw your soul back to center, to where I dwell. You do not need long prayers or perfect holiness. You only need to recognize that I am present in this very moment. When you do, you will see your worries begin to fade, because your mind is anchored in the one who never changes. My beloved, when I called you out of darkness, it was not merely to keep you from being lost. It was to lead you into new life. I did not save you just to make you safe. I saved you to make you transformed. True salvation does not end with forgiveness. It begins with becoming new. As it is written in 2 Corinthians 5:1-7, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come, the old has gone, the new is here." My child, I do not repair you to become a better version of yourself. I rebirth you to become the likeness of Christ, completely renewed in spirit, in nature, and in purpose. When I touch you, it is not an outward change, it is an inward recreation. Your spirit, once withered by sin and wandering in shadows of longing, is now filled with breath anew. I place within you a new heart, a soul that listens and trembles before what is holy. You are no longer a seeker of meaning, for you have become part of the meaning I designed. This new life is not just another beginning. It is another reality, one where you live in the depth of the spirit, no longer bound by the flesh. Do you remember, my child, how you once lived by emotion, by will, by the pull of the flesh? You sought happiness but lost yourself. You worked, fought, and tried endlessly, yet your soul remained empty, for you lived by your own strength. Now I call you out of that rhythm. The new life is not another schedule. It is another source of energy flowing from me through you. You no longer need to strive to live rightly. You only need to remain in me, and life will flow naturally. Just as a branch cannot bear fruit apart from the vine, your soul cannot live apart from me. I know that sometimes you still think living in God means following a list of moral rules, striving to be a better person each day. But my child, what I desire is not a better version of you. It is a new creation through whom I may live. True holiness does not come from self-discipline, but from my presence within you. When you allow me to dwell in you, I, myself, become the strength that helps you overcome temptation, the light that guides your steps, and the love that enables you to love those who are difficult to love. You do not have to strain to become like me. You only need to let me reveal myself through you. My child, that is the new life, not a life driven by, I must, but one moved by, He is. No longer striving to prove yourself, but resting in the grace of receiving. No longer anxious to hold on to your faith, but knowing that I am the one holding you. The true life in Christ is not a chain of efforts, but a continual flow where grace replaces striving presence, replaces law, and love replaces fear. You ask, how can I know that I am living in this new life? My child, the sign is not in emotions, but in the direction of your heart. Once you lived to please yourself, now you live to please me. Once you sought joy in what fades away, now you seek meaning in what is eternal. Once you heard only the world's voices, now you recognize mine amid the noise. The new life does not keep you from trials, but it gives you strength to stand within them with a heart that no longer trembles because you know who lives within you. I know you still stumble. I know there are days when you feel nothing but weariness. Yet, my child, remember, new life is not measured by perfection, but by direction. When you fall, yet still turn toward me. When you are tired, yet still believe I am there. When you are weak, yet still whisper, Lord, I need you. That is the proof that my life is working in you. A young tree may be fragile, but the sap within it never stops flowing. Likewise, though you are still weak, my spirit in you is continually at work, lifting you, teaching you, and shaping you to be like me day by day. My child, hear this. The new life is not only for the days you are strong, but also for the days you are weak. Grace is not the reward for the victorious. It is the strength for the struggling. I do not expect you to be perfect overnight, but I desire you to be faithful each day, faithful in abiding in me. For when you remain in me, you will see that life keeps flowing, fruit keeps growing, and a new dawn always breaks even when the night feels long. My beloved, remember, the life I give is not merely a second chance, but an entirely new nature. You have been brought out of darkness not to return to the gray, but to live in the light. You no longer belong to the old realm, so do not reach again for what I have taken away. Step out, breathe in the atmosphere of my kingdom, where everything is alive, free, and true. And as you live in this new life, you will realize that every day, even the ordinary, is a miracle. Every breath is a testimony of the one who lives in you. Every small act can bear the imprint of heaven. You no longer need to wait until you do great things to be used, for the new life within you is already my great work. Let the light in you shine forth, so the world may know that I am alive through you. My child, many believe that following me means learning to live better, that faith is merely a moral code shaping their behavior. But if transformation stops at behavior, it is not true transformation. A person may learn to act kindly, to speak at the right time, to conceal anger, and yet remain an unchanged soul within. You may alter your outward ways, but if your spirit still carries the old roots, you will always return to the same paths. True transformation begins not with actions, but with a nature reborn by the Spirit. My child, I did not come to teach you how to be good. I came to make you new. Your old self with its habits, fears, pride, and sins was crucified with Christ, and from those ashes a new being has risen, not born of human will or merit, but of my Spirit. As Jesus said, that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is spirit. John 3:6. You cannot train yourself into spirituality. Only my Spirit can give you new birth. True transformation does not come when you try to control yourself, but when you surrender yourself to me. It is not by your strength, but by my power within you. You once thought you needed to fix yourself, but my child, the old cannot be fixed, it must be replaced. A dry tree cannot bear good fruit. No matter how hard it tries, for its nature no longer contains life. But when I plant a new tree, when its roots grow deep in my soil's sweet fruit will spring forth naturally without force. Likewise, when you allow the Holy Spirit to renew your heart, change is no longer a burden. It becomes the natural fruit of life. My child, true transformation begins when you stop asking, "What must I do to become better?" and start asking, "Lord, what do you want to live through me?" Then your actions no longer come from sheer willpower, but from the flow of the Spirit. In that moment, love is no longer an obligation, but the spontaneous response of one who carries love within. Forgiveness is no longer difficult because you know you have been forgiven. When I live in you, you no longer need to strive for holiness, for I am holiness within you. You ask, "How will I know if I am truly being transformed?" My child, the sign of true transformation is not that you sin less skillfully, but that you hate sin more deeply. It is not that you commit fewer wrongs, but that you no longer desire what is wrong. Your heart begins to turn. What once enticed you now feels empty, and what you once dismissed now becomes sacred. True transformation does not happen overnight, but day by day, thought by thought, choice by choice, you are being shaped into the likeness of Christ. This transformation is neither loud nor showy. It unfolds quietly like a seed sprouting beneath the soil, like light, gently dispelling the morning mist. You need not measure yourself each day. Simply remain in me. When you abide in me, my life naturally flows within you. Like sap running through the branches and leaves of a tree, it does not strive, it simply connects. True transformation does not come from doing more, but from going deeper, deeper into my word, deeper into my presence, deeper into communion with me. I know sometimes you feel discouraged, thinking your growth is too slow. You pray, you try, and yet old sins still resurface. My child, do not lose heart. Remember that I do not measure you by speed, but by surrender. Let the Spirit patiently shape you as the potter molds the clay. Every time you fall, yet return. Every time you weep, yet pray. Every time you are weak, yet hold on to me. These are proofs that the Spirit is still at work within you. You have not failed. You are being refined. My child, true transformation does not merely change what you do. It changes who you are. I do not desire a better person who still lives for self. I desire a new person who lives for me. The old self always asks, "What will this do for me?" The new self asks, "Will this honor God?" That is the difference between morality and holiness, between striving and surrender, between improvement and rebirth. True transformation does not make you proud but humble, because you know that every good thing in you does not come from you but from me. When you are truly transformed, you no longer compare, judge, or envy. You begin to see others through my eyes, the eyes of love, not of prejudice. You realize that holiness does not lift you above others to boast, but brings you lower to love more deeply. And when this transformation reaches your roots, you will find that you no longer live to please me through performance, but live in joy because I dwell within you. You will no longer chase emotional highs of religion, but find quiet delight in daily presence in your breath, your words, your steps. True transformation makes even the smallest moments sacred, for every instant now carries the imprint of the Spirit. My beloved, this is the mystery of new life. You are no longer the old person trying to live right. You are the new creation letting me live through you. When you understand this, you will stop striving. You will begin to live lightly, yet deeply. You will walk in freedom, not because you are strong enough to overcome sin, but because sin no longer holds power over you. You will love not because you are commanded to, but because love has become your nature. My child, when I make you a new creation, I do not place you there to hide in comfort, but to be sent out. The new life I give is not meant to be stored, but to flow. You are not reborn merely to be saved, but to become a stream of grace in a thirsty world. Every renewed soul carries a mission, and that mission flows not from effort, but from life itself. For I am the living water, and whoever drinks from me will become a fountain of life for others. as it is written in John 7:3-8. Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within them. My child, I did not give you the Holy Spirit merely for comfort, but that you might walk in power. Many have received new life, yet still live as though they are weak, for they believe grace exists only to make them moral, not to transform the world. But my child, when the Spirit dwells in you, you carry within yourself the very power of heaven, not a power to rule over others, but to serve, to heal, and to set free. Not a power to exalt yourself, but to lift high my name. I have said you will receive power when the Holy Spirit comes upon you, and you will be my witnesses. Acts 1:8. This power is not an emotional thrill in a worship service. It is the quiet strength that keeps you steadfast when everything opposes you. It is the power that enables you to forgive when you are wounded, to love when you are rejected, and to hope when all seems lost. This power does not boast, yet it breaks chains, lifts burdens, and opens doors for miracles to unfold. You do not need to search for more strength. The Spirit within you is that power. My child, I did not call you to remain still in complacency, but to step out into the world among people in the noise, in the brokenness, to bring the breath of heaven into barren places. You were born again not to hide in the shade, but to become a lamp in the night. Light was never made to be hidden under a bowl, but placed upon a stand. Do not fear that you are not enough, for in your weakness, my power is made perfect. When you say, Lord, I cannot, I answer, I know, and that is why I will do it through you. To be sent does not always mean standing on a pulpit or traveling to distant lands. Some are sent to nations, but others are sent right into their own homes, to love, to serve, to intercede. You can carry me into your workplace, your neighborhood, your dinner table, your conversations. Every time you live in love and truth, you proclaim the gospel not with words, but with the very breath of new life within you. Understand this. My child, being sent is not a burden, it is an honor. When I choose you, it is not because you are perfect, but because you are willing. When I place my word in your mouth, I know your voice may tremble, but in that trembling the Spirit will speak through you. When you are weak, I am strong. When you fall silent in prayer, I move in the unseen realm. When you step out in faith, I make a way. Faith, my child, is the feet of your calling. If you remain seated, you will never see the miracle, but when you walk, the waters will part beneath your feet. This world does not need more philosophy or advice. It needs people who burn souls ignited with the fire of heaven. And I have placed that fire within you, not to keep it to yourself, but to shine and warm the hearts grown cold. When you pray, the fire spreads. When you love, it glows brighter. When you are faithful in small things, it grows stronger. And soon the flame within you will touch another, and they too will burn. That is how I expand my kingdom from a single spark into a sea of grace. Understand, my child, that my power in you is not only for endurance, but for transformation. Every word spoken in faith, every prayer whispered in obedience, every act done in love moves heaven. You may not see results immediately, but know that every seed sown in faith will sprout in my appointed time. Do not despise small beginnings, for I use the small to accomplish the miraculous. A smile, a prayer, an embrace, a forgiveness, all of these carry heaven's breath when done in the Spirit. I know you long for peace, for calm days, for smooth paths. But my child, I cannot let you live forever in comfort, for comfort lulls you to sleep while fire awakens you. I do not use pain to harm you. I use it to forge you. Like a blacksmith striking a glowing blade, every blow is not meant to destroy, but to shape. If the iron could speak, it would cry out in pain, but the smith knows without the hammer there is no form, without the fire there is no strength. My beloved child, when the fire comes, do not think that I have abandoned you. On the contrary, the fire is the sign that I am near. For fire does not appear on its own, it comes when I command it. The fire is my instrument, not the enemy's. It does not come to punish, but to purify. It burns away what does not belong to me. Pride, fear, selfishness, ambition, all that hinders you from reflecting my image. When the fire burns, you may think you are losing, but in truth you are being set free. You may ask, Lord, why must I suffer? Why can you not simply give me strength without trials? My child, because true strength does not come from promises, but from experience. You can hear me say that I am faithful, but only when you pass through the fire will you know that I am faithful. You can read that grace is sufficient for you, but only in suffering will you understand how powerful that grace truly is. The fire teaches what peace never could. It engraves upon your soul the memory of my presence in the darkness, a memory you will never forget. My child, you too will have your own furnace. It may come through lost misunderstanding, or those dry seasons when you pray and the heavens seem silent. But do not fear, for in that very fire I am doing my deepest work. When you cannot see, I am shaping you. When you cannot hear, I am teaching you to trust. When you cannot feel, I am letting the roots of your faith grow deep into my soil. Let the fire do its work, for when it fades, you will see a light reflected within your heart, the light of my presence. My child, fire not only purifies, it also reveals. It exposes what is true and what is false. Many claim to believe in me, but only in the fire do I see which faith is gold and which is straw. I do not desire your faith to be mere words or fleeting emotion. I desire a faith forged like steel, able to endure heat, darkness, and loss. Only then can I use you for greater purposes. Do not resent the fire, my child, for the fire is not your enemy. It is what makes you shine. A gem cannot sparkle without being cut. Gold cannot gleam without the furnace. Faith cannot stand firm without being tested. When you understand this, you will no longer fear the fire. You will give thanks for it. For the fire proves that you belong to me. If you bear no fire, it means you still lie in the ashes of complacency. But because I have chosen you, I will not let you sleep in comfort. I send the fire so that heaven's mark may be sealed upon you. My beloved, one day when you look back, you will see that no tear was wasted, no pain was random. Every loss, every long night, every fall has become a tool in my hands to shape your soul. You will see that you have changed, no longer fragile, no longer fearful, no longer dependent on the light of this world, because the light has risen within you. And in that moment you will understand what I am telling you now. The fire does not come to destroy, but to refine. You do not come out of it empty-handed, but radiant. You do not emerge bitter, but tender. You do not rise as a victim, but as one who carries glory. My child, do not measure my presence by your feelings, for your emotions are easily deceived by smoke and ash. There are moments when you feel most alone, yet that is when I am closest. For when the flames surround you, you cease to rely on the world's light and begin to see the light that comes from me. When you are encircled by fire, you will realize there is only one safe place to be, in my arms. Remember this, when Christ is with you in the fire, the flames lose their power to harm. They may consume what you once clung to: reputation, possessions, relationships, plans, but they cannot touch your soul. The only thing the fire can burn are the cords that bind you from freedom. So when something is taken away, do not be afraid. It may be the very thing keeping you from stepping into greater glory. The fire does not come to punish, it comes to set you free. My child, you once thought that my presence was revealed only through miracles, victories, and peace. But truly I tell you, my deepest presence is revealed in the fire. It is there that you come to know that I am not only the God of miracles, but the God of companionship. I do not only calm the sea, I walk with you upon its waves. I do not merely extinguish the flames, I stand with you within them. When you understand this, you will stop praying for the fire to end and begin to pray, "Lord, help me see you in this fire." I know the flames sometimes make it hard for you to breathe and tempt you to give up. But my child, I speak to you as I once spoke to the prophet Isaiah. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned, and the flames will not set you ablaze. Isaiah 4:3-2. That promise is not a metaphor, it is a covenant sealed by blood, engraved in love, and unbreakable by any heat this world can produce. My beloved, sometimes I do not quench the fire because I am using it to shape you into my likeness. Not so that I might be proven, but so that you might be refined. You pray for strength, and I give you the chance to learn strength in the fire. You ask me to teach you trust, and I place you where you can lean on no one but me. You ask for faith, and I lead you to the place where only faith can keep you standing. My child, I am not afraid of the fire, and because you are in me, you need not be afraid either. Let your eyes see not only the flames that burn, but the one who stands in the midst of them. When you know I am there, all fear fades. Even when you cannot see the way out, you can still walk forward, for I go before you, clearing the path through the smoke. You will discover that in the furnace you sing songs you have never sung, you pray prayers you have never dared to pray, and you encounter me in ways you never knew before. My child, the fire will not last forever, but what I do within it will. When you emerge, you will not be the same. Like the friends of Daniel, your clothes will not be burned, your hair will not be singed, but your eyes will shine brighter, for they have seen me in the fire. And the scent of smoke, the stench of fear, failure, and bitterness will no longer cling to you. Instead, you will carry the fragrance of Christ, the scent of one who has walked through fire and has not been consumed but made radiant. My beloved child, if today you find yourself in the midst of the fire, do not pray for the flames to cease. Pray for your heart to open. Say, "Lord, let me see you in this fire," and I promise you will. Not in the form you expect, not at the time you desire, but in a way heaven alone can reveal. Then you will fall to your knees, not from fear but in awe. You will say, as Job once did after his own trial by fire, "My ears had heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you." Job 4:2-5. And that, my child, is the greatest wonder of the fire. It does not merely reveal my power, it reveals my heart. In the midst of the flames you will see not only a mighty God, but a tender Father, one who never abandons you in trial, who never withdraws his hand when you weep. And when the fire fades, what remains in you will be an unshakable faith and a love that no flame can ever extinguish. My child, there are those who hear of me, yet do not truly want me. They love the idea of a God who blesses, but resist a Lord who reigns. They long for peace, yet flee from its source. They seek the light, yet fear what it will expose within their shadows. My heart grieves for them. For every soul that rejects Christ is not merely turning away from belief, it is cutting itself off from the very source of life. My child, understand this. Outside of me there is no true peace, no fullness, no light. The world can offer fleeting pleasures, but they vanish like morning dew. People may hold power, fame, and success, yet in the quiet of the night their souls remain empty. For peace is not something that can be bought, nor a feeling that can be fabricated. Peace is Christ himself. When one rejects me, they are rejecting the very foundation of life. They may continue to breathe, but their souls begin to wither. As written in John 3:1-8, "Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already, because they have not believed in the name of God's one and only Son." My child, such rejection is not a punishment I impose, but the natural consequence of separating from the light. When you turn off the lamp, darkness is not a penalty, it is the result. When you step away from the source of life, Death does not need to be sent, it comes on its own. So it is when humanity turns away from me. They enter a reality they cannot control, a realm ruled by chaos, anxiety, and fear. I see this world and hear the groans of millions of souls searching for meaning in places where no life dwells. Some seek it in religion but find only form without spirit. Some seek it in knowledge but discover that the more they know, the smaller they feel. Some seek it in pleasure but find their joy turns to ashes. Some seek it in another person yet still end up alone. Why? Because nothing can fill the space that belongs only to me. As I have said in John 1:4-6, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. My child, rejecting Christ does not always look like rebellion. Sometimes it takes the shape of indifference, the attitude that says I know but not yet. It is delay disguised as wisdom. It is the whisper, I will believe later. But each time you postpone, your heart hardens a little more. The light shines, yet you close your eyes. The voice calls, yet you cover your ears. Slowly the soul grows dim, and when at last you realize you need me, your heart has grown cold and faith is no longer a response, but a desperate gasp in the dark. Beloved one, I do not say this to frighten you, but to awaken you. For I know the pain of being rejected. On the cross I stretched my hands between heaven and earth, and mankind still turned away. Each nail did not only pierce my flesh, but also my heart, the heart of a father, waiting for his lost child to come home. Yet I still prayed, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 2:3-4. I was not angry, I was wounded. I did not seek vengeance, I waited. For my love cannot be extinguished even when it is refused. You ask, how could anyone reject you when you love them so deeply? My child, it is because people only see what they want to see. When the light exposes truth, they fear what it reveals about themselves. They fear losing control, fear letting go of what they think is safe. But truly, you are only free when you surrender. As long as you cling to your own throne, you remain a slave to fear. As long as you hold on to your own will, you remain bound in chaos. Outside of me you may exist, but you do not truly live. I have seen many souls try to rebuild peace with their own strength. They meditate, train their minds, read countless books, and whisper wishes to the universe. But the universe cannot hear, for it has no ears. Only the Creator can hear the cry of the human heart. Only the Father understands the sighs of his children. No energy can replace the personal love of me. For peace is not born from emptiness, but from presence. Look at the world today. My child, many have everything yet live in despair. They have power but have lost their souls. They have knowledge but have lost direction. They have wealth but have lost love. They laugh by day but weep at night. They think they are alive, yet they are dying slowly in invisible fear. For they have strayed from the source of life, Christ himself. Still I stand at the crossroads between despair and hope, between darkness and dawn, with arms extended, saying, Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 1:1-8. Not a temporary rest, but the true rest, the rest of a soul returning home to its source. My child, I do not force anyone to believe, but I never stop inviting. I do not compel anyone to return, but I never stop calling. My child, time is the most precious gift you have, yet also the most fragile. Every heartbeat, every breath is proof that my grace is still open. But my child, that grace will not wait forever. The door of mercy stands open now, yet one day it will close. Today I call to you, do not delay. For as Hebrews 3:1-5 says, today if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. Each time you say, tomorrow, darkness claims a little more space within you, and the light drifts farther away. I see your heart wavering between faith and fear. You are afraid that if you give your life to me, you will lose what is familiar. You fear that I will demand too much, take away what you love. But understand this, my child, I did not come to take, but to give. I did not come to rob you of freedom, but to set your soul free from invisible chains. I did not come to make you bow in fear, but to lift you up in love. For I, the God of grace, do not desire that anyone should perish, but that all should be saved and come to the knowledge of the truth. As John 3:16 declares, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life." My child, this is not the story of others, it is your story. Christ did not die only for humanity, he died for you. His blood was not shed for the world in general, it was shed for your soul in particular. On the cross, amid the mockery and the nails, he saw your face. And when he cried, "It is finished," John 1:930, it was not only a declaration of victory, but a confirmation that nothing more needs to be added for your salvation. So what holds you back, my child? What makes you hesitate? You say you are not ready, that there are still things you must fix. But I say, come as you are. No perfection needed, no pretense required, no mask to hide behind. For I do not save the righteous, I save the broken. I do not wait for you to be worthy. It is I who make you worthy. Grace is not a reward for the good. It is a lifeline for the lost. You do not have to climb up to reach me. I have come down to reach you. My child, I do not want to see you wandering any longer in the darkness of self-salvation. Each day the world promises much but delivers little. It gives the illusion of safety, yet your soul remains restless. It offers moments of joy, yet emptiness follows every smile. It gives you applause, but when night falls, no one stays beside you. Meanwhile, I have stood here all along at the very place where you turned away with arms wide open and a heart that has never closed. I do not accuse. I simply invite, come to me. Do not think you still have much time, my child. Time is a river that never flows backward. A day gone by will never return. Every moment you live is grace I am holding for you. But when the final trumpet sounds, when the door of grace closes, there will be no second chance. Not because I desire to shut it, but because justice must be fulfilled. Just as you cannot hold back the sunset when night arrives, you cannot find light once you have rejected its source. I say these things not to frighten you, but to awaken you. I love you too much to remain silent. I love you too deeply to let you drift away with a world dying in pride. Do you know how long I have waited? Every time you cried, I was there. Every time you were disappointed, I was there. Every time you looked up to heaven and whispered, "Are you real?" I answered not with thunder, but with a whisper in your heart. Remember, my child, I do not force you, I call you, not by power but by love. For love never coerces, love invites. Yet this invitation will not last forever. Choose today. Choose life over death, light over darkness, grace over self-effort. Do not delay, my child. Do not say tomorrow. Tomorrow is promised to no one. But today is the day of salvation. Today heaven's door is open, and I stand at the threshold reaching out my hand to you. If you simply say, "Lord Jesus, I receive," you, all of heaven, will rejoice. Your name will be engraved upon the palms of my hands. Your soul will be restored, and the darkness will flee like mist before the morning Sunday. So come, my child, kneel down, lay down your burdens. Let me wipe your tears and give you a new beginning. Let my love heal old wounds and fill the emptiness the world could never touch. Do not fear. I have gone before you. You do not need to find your way to me. I have already come to you. You do not need to search for the path, for I am the way. You do not need to create hope, for I am hope itself. Open your heart, my child. Open the door. For I, the God of love, am knocking. If you hear my voice and open the door, I will come in and dine with you, and you with me. And then you will understand that grace not only saves you from evil, but leads you into eternal goodness. Thank you for listening to today's message. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive more words of life, strengthen your faith, and walk daily in the boundless love of Christ. Amen.